Hi everybody! In this video I will show you how to use RubyHail single page app generator. As always, you start with installing it. Gem install rhail, and then you just generate single page app. rhail g spa. And you basically follow instructions. You go into folder, install bundler, and run rack server. It automatically generates gemset for you if you have RVM. And then you just install bundle. Alright, now you just run web server. I just use rack for development purposes. It can be any rack compatible web server. And you just open it in browser. This will tell you it's on port 9292. That's how it looks like. Let's look in the code and see how it works. This is the folder that was generated. You can see in its root there's gem file. There's just a bunch of things. Rack for web, SQL for database, SQLite, it's the database I use, and rhail itself. In the public folder you can see all the elements for web pages, file with CSS styles, HTML page, bunch of images, and a little bit of JavaScript. This single page app written using RubyHail for backend and Vue.js for frontend. Most of backend logic happens in this file, config.ru. And you can see here, this is what responds when you go to root. Basically, it calls rhail helper render HTML, and it renders this file. Since it's a single page app, that's the initial file, and it has all the components to run this application. Let's look into it. This is the file, and you can see a lot of its structure is what Vue.js requires. This part is all about menus and navigation, all these things. All these styles are based on Bootstrap. You can see it's mobile friendly. Now, next thing is for Vue.js. There's Jumbotron. It is this thing with picture. And then this is this text. Other things are for other pages. You can see they're wrapped into template with specific IDs. If you click on example 1, this is what you see. Vue.js takes this template and shows that. This is the form. You can fill it out, and it will send JSON request to backend. On the backend in config.ru, you can see this is example 1. Basically, when you click on this link, it goes to example 1, Vue.js processes it, and it makes requests to this API. It gets parameter from JSON request, checks security token, gets data from database, and renders JSON back. And then Vue.js, based on this JSON response and this template, renders the page. Let's fill out the form and see what will happen to the request. Okay, I opened Network tab in Developers Tools. Now I click add, and you can see it makes post request. It says example 2, and you can see in the request and send parameters I set in the form. The next one, again, it hits example 1 to read data from the backend, and you can see it responds with JSON. So in Configure, when I click add on the form, it goes here to post request of example 2, reads data, checks token, puts data in database, and it says result is okay. And then Vue.js, when result is okay, it goes and requests data from example 1 and renders it. That's it for the Ruby code. RHEL helper is used here for several things: render initial HTML, parse parameters from request, and render JSON. Regarding the front end, it's written in Vue.js. This is the main file, app.js, and it just specifies components. Here you can see what's going on in every component. Basically, there's method getData that makes request to example 1. There's method sendData that just makes request and posts data to example 2. And Vue.js puts it all together properly. It knows what templates to use, looks in this file, looks for a template with this ID, and basically handles everything that you can see on the front end side. That's it.